Hey everybody, Nick here from virtualassistantassistant.com. I'm here with Brian Miles, founder and CEO of EA Help. Brian, what's going on?
Hey, how are you, Nick?
Doing well, thanks. So what we want to do today is give you a chance to speak directly to the virtual assistant visitors and tell them what EA Help is all about and kind of what separates your company from the competition.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
So why would a prospective customer who's looking to get into outsourcing hire you guys?
Well, for us, we've been pretty intentional to be about the relationship with our clients, but we realize that, especially early on in the relationship, they're not as interested in that as much as they need to get their time back. And so we're very intentional about serving them well with their time, meaning finding those things that are mission critical to giving their time back and then working on the nice to haves later. For us, our clients, they come to us for all sorts of different reasons, but we want them to stick around long term. So I feel like one of the things that we do is we've invested heavily in our team. We've created roles that are connected to onboarding and implementation, and then also just kind of the client care side of things long term. So I think that that's a significant differentiator for us and then a lot of the other folks that are companies or firms that are out there in the United States and globally.
Okay, great. Who would you say is your ideal customer or your target customer?
That's a moving target for us. I mean, what we found, I mean, we're a relatively young company. I mean, we started in 2010, and we had very early success working with churches in the United States. But then what we discovered is that there were plenty of businesses and consultants and one and two and three person shops that would need administrative help, but they couldn't afford somebody on site. Today, what we've seen is we're in 25 different types of industries.
Wow.
And there's some outliers there as well. But I mean, the reality is those organizations are not only broad, but we're finding that we've got depth in those industries as well. So everything from healthcare to IT to hospitality to nonprofit, working with organizations that are less than 10 million in revenue up in excess of $2 billion in revenue. So
Wow.
the breadth and depth of what we're doing with our client base is pretty far flung, I guess. But I would say that we're looking specifically for leaders that are they're hitting the lid in terms of their capacity as a leader, and they realize that the way that they're going to escape that or break through that glass ceiling is to yield up certain tasks, but they want to do it in a relational context.
Gotcha. Now you guys have come out and kind of stuck your flag in the sand and say, hey, outsourcing doesn't necessarily mean overseas. We're going to be
Right.
an all U.S. based company. Now, are you
Yeah.
running an office out of Atlanta, or tell me
Yeah.
about the VA's working environment?
Yeah. We really, even before we started our business, we made the decision that we wanted to impact the United States economy. And by doing that, not that other economies aren't important, we just felt like, especially back in when you look in late '09 and 2010, when the economy was suffering sizably, and we've somewhat emerged out of that we felt like it was the right thing to do as an American citizen to produce jobs here in the United States, and that's what we did. And today we're headquartered in Atlanta, and we've got virtual assistants in 40 states right
Wow.
now, including Hawaii and Alaska. So it's not it's not that we don't like folks from Canada or the Philippines or anything like that. It's just that we just kind of feel a burden to help those. And the fun thing is with our sales team, we joke about this a little bit. Or I guess we don't joke. We point to it and we just say, "Hey, look! Every time you sign a contract, you're putting somebody to work in our country." And it's a pretty powerful thing to realize that.
Yeah. That's cool. Any areas of specialty? I think you mentioned kind of the general administrative stuff. Any specialized tasks that these EAs can handle?
Yeah, for us, I think we try and customize that need based on the clients. It's inevitably there's always things like calendar management, email management, travel. Those are kind of the biggies, the top three that we see. But then there's the other things that we're finding large organizations are kind of pointing us out for, which is project management or task management.
Okay.
And the reality is sometimes the word virtual assistant do a disservice to the types of people or the caliber of people that work for our company.
Uh-huh.
They're in some instances they're former attorneys.
Wow.
They're project managers that work for Fortune 500 companies, and
Okay.
so they can manage projects even better than I can or other people on our team. And so those are the caliber of people that we target as our virtual assistants. Not everyone is like that, but that equals a service where we can get very custom with the level of execution that a leader needs, in order to kind of free up their time and get back focused on things that they need to do.
Gotcha. So when someone signs on, they're filling out a pretty detailed explanation of what they'd like to get done or kind of what they kind of want to offload from their plate.
Yeah, yeah, and it starts with a synchronization process, if you will, during our implementation period. So, you know, there's several things that we're looking for from a client. We need them to do the homework and to do the due diligence with us because it translates to a better match with their virtual assistant.
Gotcha.
And so what we do is we say, hey, it's great that you've identified the 800,000 things that you want to offload, but it'd be really great if you could help us prioritize that.
Yeah.
So then we walk through that with them, and there's two things that emerge in that process. The first are the things that are mission critical, and the other is just the nice to haves.
Okay.
And those nice to haves and those things that are mission critical vary from client to client.
Gotcha. Is there a segment of the population who should not buy your service?
Yeah, there sure are. Anybody that's a jerk cannot come and knock on our door. We say that, but I mean, there's just a certain type of me monster client that we don't want to work with, and that's the one that are high. They're very high maintenance, and they expect the world, and they expect more of you than of themselves. And they're the type of people, they don't want a virtual assistant or a relationship with a virtual assistant. They'd want a slave.
Okay.
Those are the type of people that we don't want. And so we're looking for humble, sincere leaders that are doing everything in their power to knock it out of the park in the areas that they're called to do. And we want to come alongside people like that. So really, regardless of industry, we're looking more for a type of personality or a type of leader that wants to approach us in more of a humble, open-handed experience to say, hey, teach me about delegation and productivity. Okay. And we serve those folks extremely well. And and I think that, even the reviews on your site would even kind of articulate that.
Right. They're looking for a partnership rather than, a slave driver.
Yeah, and and how that really practically plays out, and I get it, I understand it. There's certain people that just want something done, a task, and they don't want a relationship. They just want their haircut scheduled or their oil change scheduled. That's cool. That's fine. That's just not going to be our client. Okay. In that process. And, I really respect those other organizations and how they do that. But for us, our model is to basically, get heavily integrated into the life of a leader. And that just takes time and just a lot of patience.
Gotcha. To wrap things up, any special offer for VAA visitors?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is offer our ebook that Michael highlighted us in, the Virtual Assistant Solution. I can send you the file or the link so that you can basically share that with your audience. I think it's a tremendous read from a client perspective. It's in my opinion, it's non-salesy. And I think it really kind of helps. People are saying, hey, how's this thing with a virtual assistant work? Yeah. It gives a firsthand practical example of that. Obviously, it highlights our organization, but I think that it'd be a very good, quick read for a leader that's thinking through whether a virtual assistant would be right for them or not.
Yeah, I thought the book did a really good job kind of on the mindset of outsourcing and kind of getting your head around I'm drowning, and they even got the life preserver on the cover.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I'm trying to get some help, but I don't really know where to turn, and kind of presents this remote working relationship as the solution, which I thought was it did a nice job of that.
Oh yeah, thank you.
All right, Brian, thanks so much for coming on the video chat, and
grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Nick.
Everybody watching, go check out eahelp.com, and we'll put the link to get that book below this video.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.